Hello, I'm Jeremy Shearer, Partner Solution Architect here at AWS, and I'm part of the Oracle Application on AWS team, and I am focused on helping migrate J D Edwards to AWS. Today I'm joined by Mr. Dave Willis. Dave.
Thank you, Jeremy. Dave Willis, Regional Sales Director at Connectria. And if you joined us for our last video, we talked about the migration process of Enterprise One running on IBM iSeries systems to the AWS Connectria hybrid cloud solution. In this particular video, we're going to talk about what features and benefits you inherit as you make that move and that migration to this hybrid cloud solution, and why you would want to consider moving your Enterprise One environment running on IBM I to this hybrid cloud solution. So Jeremy, can you share with me some of the benefits of why I would move my x86 workloads to AWS and how I can leverage the fact that I'm still running on DB2 with my Enterprise One environment to leverage other features and functionalities of AWS?
Yeah, absolutely. So at AWS, we have over 200 services that can be leveraged with this solution. So they can be leveraged with these x86s that have been moved to AWS, but they can even be used against the IBM systems that are sitting in the hybrid cloud over on the Connectria side across this less than 2 millisecond connection. So I'm going to start by focusing a little bit on some of the core JDE features that we can leverage. And I'm going to start by talking about our web application firewall solution. So our web application firewall, we call it a WAF typically, is a firewall for the applications. So J D Edwards runs on top of WebLogic, and it runs on top of Linux, and it runs on top of all of these different components, which bad actors are continually looking for vulnerabilities that they can exploit. And when they find those vulnerabilities and those vulnerabilities get reported, the vendors have to take time to patch them, and then after the vendors create the patches for them, then the patches takes more time to get the patches applied to all that infrastructure. In that duration, there's a vulnerability to your system, and you want to protect your system. And you can use the web application firewall to help do that. So with the web application firewall, we'll send all of our J D Edwards inbound traffic through the WAF before it hits our front-end servers. And this WAF will be looking for traffic that's indicating an exploit is underway. And when it detects those exploits, it'll block it. And it'll give you that protection up until the point that that exploit can actually be patched on the server itself. So that's one just easy example of how you can plug it in. Another JDE-centric solution is our AWS workspaces. So all JDE environments have client machines. Whether they're administrator clients, they're developer clients, they have these clients that are running the J D Edwards 32-bit, 64-bit software for doing the OMW promotion, for doing data sources and OCM and all those different configurations on the administrator side, all the development tools, form design aid, table design aid, report design aid on the developer side. Those all need to run on these desktop clients. In a traditional solution, we would end up running these like we would run servers because they need to be close to that real low latency connection to the database server. We can't have a 10 millisecond, a 20 millisecond connection. Performance is just too bad. It needs to be close. So they would often just end up on the x86 side like a server. But that can get very expensive running these desktops as servers. Running them as workspaces is a much lower cost way of doing it, and we can take advantage of all of our managed desktop capabilities along the way. And one of the neat managed desktop capabilities is our pricing model that goes with it. We have a concept where we can have full-time clients where it has a flat monthly rate to use that client. Whether you're using it 80 hours, 120 hours, whether you got those developers working those 16-hour shifts 7 days a week, it's the same flat rate. But then we also have our part-time, billed by the hour clients, where you can just pay by the hour that workspace client is being used. So that's beautiful for people that their full-time job is not being a JDE developer. They may be a .NET developer who also does some JDE stuff. They may be working in Reports Now or DSI or these other solutions, and they're only hitting the JDE side part-time. We'll only pay for the time that they're actually in the client actually using it.
That's a great feature. Over the years, I've worked with many Enterprise One clients moving to the cloud or looking to move to the cloud, and one of the challenges they have, especially if they've just completed an upgrade or planning to do an upgrade of their Enterprise One environment, is that they've got a lot of developer clients or fat clients, and traditionally they've had to build out those servers, buy that infrastructure, and once they're done with them, it's still equipment they have to maintain and manage, and there's a cost associated with that. Even moving to a private cloud solution, those servers have to be stood up, and they typically stand there and are paid for every month, whether they're being used or not. This solution allows these dev clients to be paid for and are used on a temporary basis and paid for when they're used.
Pay as you go.
Yep.
Yeah, it's ideal. It's ideal.
That's a great feature.
Yeah, and then in addition to these managed desktop solutions, we also offer managed Active Directory service. So these workspaces clients are running Windows. Your deployment server is running Windows. If you're running SQL Server for your for part of your landscape, it's running Windows. There's Windows all over in a JDE landscape, and we offer the managed Active Directory for helping manage that Windows. Building on top of this managed Active Directory, we have a solution called AWS Identity and Access Management. So with AWS IAM, we can actually provide front-end authentication for JD Edwards. You may ask, why would we want to do that?
Well, what's the benefit? Good question. What's the benefit to customers once they've moved to this hybrid cloud solution?
So with JD Edwards authentication today, when you type that name and password in the forms-based authentication, that name and password goes through the HTTP traffic directly to the Jazz server. If it's unencrypted, just normal HTTP, you can sniff that traffic and you see that password right there in clear text. Even if you do SSL encryption on it, it's still subject to a man-in-the-middle vulnerability where it can still be intercepted. Modern identity management uses different authentication mechanisms to prevent that vulnerability from being leveraged. AWS IAM can plug right into JD Edwards as that modern identity management. In a recent tools release, JD Edwards added JWT support, JSON Web Token support, and that is the integration mechanism between these two systems. And this is a low-cost / no-cost service from AWS. It's a great add-on.
Okay, are there any other functionalities that can be leveraged from the DB2 side of things when running Enterprise One on that platform that AWS has available?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a lot of modern services out here. We talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning, and we have our QuickSight reporting solution, and we have Glue. We have all of these modern solutions that consume data. Well, when we talk about that, people start getting nervous. This is my IBM I. That's running JD Edwards. It's running my manufacturing. I'm concerned that you're going to send too much workload to my IBM I and degrade my manufacturing. You can't do that. We got to protect that. So one of the things that we can do is we can actually use a change data capture solution to read the journals on the IBM I and capture all the transactions and replicate that data into a modern cloud database like Amazon Aurora. Once it's in Amazon Aurora, we can plug in all of those services directly into Aurora, the AIML, our QuickSight reporting, our Glue for our other integrations. And the beauty of doing it this way is all of these activities can be running, and they can be running in a very data-intensive way, but we're not impacting our IBM I at all. We're not in any way going to slow down JD Edwards or impact manufacturing or distribution or any of those critical business processes that are running on that IBM I as we go.
So this is great. So if you're running Enterprise One, you're on the IBM I platform, and you want to leverage all this feature functionality, but still stay on the platform without having to change. Hybrid cloud solution is there. And what makes all this possible is this 2 millisecond latency between your IBM I workloads and your x86 workloads housed at AWS.
Very good. Well said. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Jeremy.